All right. Well, hello everyone. Thanks for watching. We're actually recording this session for kind of the first time for this release. And this is all about our Bigfoot, Bigfoot release with all of the nice and awesome new things that's in the product. So, first thing up is the incident AI or our bot that we put into our incident console. And so, I guess Sean, can you talk a little bit about this?
Well, Dan, I can, but before I get into what's going on with our AI agent, did you want to maybe introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, that's right. Man, I always forget about that. Yeah. So, my name's Dan Topham. I am one of the senior principal sales engineers here at xMatters. So, I do all the demonstrations and integration work and everything else in between. So, I talk with a lot of customers, a lot of non-customers as well. Get a lot of feedback, but that's me in a nutshell. And then, yeah, Sean, go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I'm Sean Russo. I'm a product manager and all things X matters very near and dear to my heart. So really
Yeah.
excited to get to share with you guys what's coming in our Bigfoot release.
Okay. Yeah, it's these guys. His team is what makes me look good, right? I'm nothing. I'm nothing without Sean.
Oh,
So
it's all a team effort, Dan.
yeah, for sure. All right. So with that in mind, our incident agent, uh, and it's super exciting. In fact, I've been able to use it for a little bit now, kind of an internal beta, if you will. And when it finally, it's going out to those that want to use it, it's just super helpful. It's super awesome. So go ahead, Sean. Can you talk a little bit more about this?
Sure, yeah. So we've been hearing from customers that often it's you get paged at 3 a.m., you got to hop into an incident and you might be a little groggy, or you're hopping into an incident and you don't have anybody there to help you, or you're just getting to know the code base, or you're fairly junior in your sort of incident response career. In any of these circumstances, or you just would like some help speeding things up a bit. And so how might we take advantage of the power of modern generative AI, LLMs, et cetera, to really speed that process up and almost serve as sort of a junior resolver in the incident response process. And so that's what this is all about. You get that page, you hop into your incident console, you start off your incident command process, and you don't have to go it alone. You have, with the click of a button, an incident agent right there ready to help you out. And one that has a lot of context, right? So it knows all of the incidents that you've had, both concurrent and past. It knows who's involved with those. It knows how those were fixed, knows what the impacted services were, et cetera, et cetera. It knows best practice around incident response. It knows all of our xMatters help docs, how to use the product. It knows your whole service landscape, like all the dependencies, the owners, the coaching, like it knows so much context that it can really be very powerful and helpful in sort of troubleshooting and ultimately reducing time to resolution.
And actually, can you talk a little bit? I know some security folks or customers may be a little bit worried about, sharing data, across instances or something. Can you make them a little bit more at ease with how this works?
Yeah, absolutely. So do not worry. We are not training models on your data. We are taking best of breed off the shelf models, and we are providing your context to those models. So we're not baking it right into the model. We're just making it available through tool calls and RAG and all that kind of fun stuff for those who are familiar with the plumbing around LLMs. And so there's no sort of pollution of the model of your own data. And the other important nuance there is the agent will respect your user permissions, whoever the user is that's interacting with it. So you can't use the agent to sort of get around any permissioning. While it has full context available to it, the only context that it can actually draw from to answer your questions are things that you have permission to access. And then, of course, it is very much scope to your instance. There's no sort of bleeding across instance. You don't have to worry about your data leaking into a customer's instance or a customer's data leaking into your instance or any of that kind of stuff. It's all very secure and separated in that way.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. See, guys, I told you, Sean and his team makes me look super good.
Well, big
Uh,
shout out to the devs on all that stuff. That's
yeah.
that's their doing. Yeah.
Uh, do we want to do a couple prompts
Let's
just to
do it.
see?
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
great. Should we maybe catch us up? We just hopped into this incident, find out what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, just coming into it and I want to see what's going on and just, hey, yeah, what is going on? So here it kind of gives me all of all of the, oh, looks like we've got a failure here and some additional data. And oh, of course, Matt Steele is the incident commander and when he acknowledged it. So that's actually super helpful. Let's do one more. Let's actually do what actions, because maybe I'm not quite sure how to go about resolving this incident. And so I'll ask it, and based upon previous incidents, like what Sean was mentioning, it has context to all of that, so it should feed me up a pretty good idea of where to start. And here we go. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's going to give me actually quite a few places to start here. And there we go. So, as far as an engagement perspective, so ensure Dev Team One, which is the order service, that checks out because that's an impacted service here. Coordinating troubleshooting, facilitate communication between engaged teams. That's great, which we already checked that. And then possibly, oh, this is actually pretty helpful. So analyze the failure rate. So investigate the 461 requests at the 5.3 error rate. So we need to pinpoint the specific endpoints or functions exhibiting this behavior. That's okay. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of things and even some potential mitigation options. So things like maybe we could roll back or restart or scale it up manually because I know that in my instance, these are actually the three things that we do to try to mitigate these kinds of incidents. So I can come in blind and the incident agent here will kind of show me what to do. So that's actually super exciting, super valuable as well. So.
Yeah, the agent can be so helpful. Like whether it's something as simple as who should I notify to engage to help me with this incident, or you've made it 15 minutes in and you need to update your stakeholders. It can draft you a stakeholder update, or maybe you need to post a progress statement to your status page. It can draft one of those for you. All the way through the diagnostic and mitigation and resolution process. It can help you step by step. But then even at the end, when it's resolved, you get into the post-incident process. It can summarize your incident, draft you analysis for your post-incident review. It can be a huge time savings. Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
That is just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That's great.
Me too.
All right. So next thing we have on the
Oh,
list.
Dan, just before
Oh,
we move
yes.
on, we
Oh,
got to mention that
that's right.
on November 13th, we're going to have
Yes.
a webinar where we go into detail around our new Instant AI agent and its cool use cases. And please do join us for that. You can find a link to it in our support center, supportcenter.everbridge.com. Of course, if you are on our newsletter list, the latest newsletter, we'll provide you a link there too. Your friendly neighborhood CSM or support agent or whoever your go-to person is at xMatters should be able to help you out if you can't find it as well.
Yeah, that's great. Super exciting.
Mhm.
All right. Next thing on the list, we've got, well, we have internal status pages. That was,
Mm.
some updates ago. And I know we've got a lot of feedback around external status pages. So, what kind of feedback did you get, Sean, from other folks?
Yeah, well, I mean, we heard this even when we were designing out our sort of MVP, our internal status pages. Many customers want the ability to have a fully public status page just on the internet so that their customers can go there and see how their services are doing. And it's a little more complexity in handling the potential scale that that involves versus sort of purely an internal audience. So some work had to be done there, hence it coming out in a following release. But we now have this capability. So you can have a internal status page like you could before. You can also create a public one and then, yeah, publish that on the internet and folks can go there and see how your services are doing.
Yeah. And I dare say the number one benefit here, of course, other than giving out information of statuses like we're aware of it, don't bombard our help desk sort of thing, is that you don't need an xMatters license to see
Mm.
this external status page, right?
Yeah.
So you can publish it and have your maybe other internal folks or maybe your customers that you serve externally with your services and applications. So no need to worry there about getting them any sort of licenses if you give them access to that external status page. So that's
Yeah,
super
it's a
exciting.
great way to build trust among your stakeholders, internal and external, and also reduce distraction, right? Like you, if you have an up-to-date status page, and probably multiple, because you're going to have different audiences. So if you have a status page ready to go for your executives, for instance, they don't need to pester you about the status of your services. If you have one for your technical audience, then they can be aware of how their services or even microservices are doing without having to pester you. And likewise for a fully public one, if sort of something you're offering your customer base is impacted, they don't need to ring you to find out what's going on. They can just go to that page and so they have full transparency and easy access to that information. And you don't have the distraction of sort of stick handling those conversations one by one as they come in.
Yeah, that's great. Super exciting. Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Now, I know that we've supported actually data sync from ServiceNow for as long as I can remember. And
Yeah.
so when I saw this new feature for a data sync, another type of data sync or another way to sync your data from ServiceNow, I was kind of curious, like why the new way or another way of syncing that data?
Yeah, so we have long supported the ability to sync in your users, sync in your groups from ServiceNow, and we continue to have that older integration as well. But this new one that we're just releasing is a little bit different in that the old one was sort of a push mechanism from ServiceNow into xMatters. The new one is actually pulling that information into xMatters, so a little more control on how that works on the xMatters side of things with this new one. And then that has also given us the flexibility to pull in more information. So you can now bring in more of that user context in your user sync, tie that in based on their roles in ServiceNow. You can associate the right licenses in xMatters. You can make sure that all their custom properties are tied up as you would like, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really just a more comprehensive, but also just easier to set up.
Yeah.
I mentioned users. This is the first step. We will continue building on this and extend it out so it also covers groups and then also services and really beyond. We have quite a few enhancement requests from our customers around the sort of older data sync, and so we're doing our best to handle all of those top requests as we build this out.
Yeah, so it sounds like this new way of syncing data gives the user tons more flexibility on, what data, how to map it to the things in the xMatters instance and everything else in between. That's really exciting. That's awesome. All right, the next one on the list. Ah, yes, Jira Dynamic
Hmm.
Steps. So I know that we've integrated Jira just like ServiceNow for quite some time, and even had we have our out-of-box steps and flow designer for Jira. So when I saw another step for Jira, this kind of step, I was kind of curious why the need for a step like this. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we've long supported Jira integrations, pass data back and forth. But with our previous integration, we only really supported standard fields and had limited tracking on any kind of custom fields involved there. With the new integration, we have full flexibility. So any field in any table can now be integrated, and passed back and forth, which just opens up so much more flexibility in how you integrate the two tools together.
Yep. And it looks like the neat part about this is that once you have authenticated into your Jira environment, it dynamically pulls first all the different projects, right? So here in my Jira instance, I've got 5 different projects. And then once you choose the project, it then pulls all of the different properties and fields and what Sean mentioned before. So maybe I want to create an incident within that particular project, and they even the cherry on top is that we also recognize any field that's required to create that incident within that project, right? So in my case, you can see summary is actually required. So it's forcing me to put a value in here. Now, of course, if I was connected to other steps, I could use the previous steps outputs in there. But now we can say, oh, like I need to also maybe assign the incident or issue in there or change the affected services, right? The sky is the limit. But you can see, I dare say that the number one benefit of this is even with custom properties and fields and projects that you don't need to write a lick of code, right? So not only is the time to value to integrate into your Jira now is like 30 seconds after authentication, but to build it, maintain it, change it, those sorts of things, now you don't necessarily have to tap a developer on the shoulder and say, hey, we've got all this custom stuff in Jira. Can you help us integrate into it and that sort of thing, which I find super valuable.
Yeah, it's true. The UX around this is so much easier for a non-technical person now. And even if you are technical, if you're comfortable with sort of, clicking in some fields and away you go, it can still be way faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Um, let's see. Next thing, mid shift rotation. So
Hmm.
I know we're now displaying actually the primary and secondary people within the shift here, as you can see. Um, and what came with that was mid shift rotation. So can you talk about that a little bit more, Sean?
Yeah, so in a recent release, we added these calendar views to our various schedules. And man, that was well received. I certainly appreciate it. That's how I like to think of my schedule as sort of calendar form. But what was missing there was who is primary on call, who is secondary on call. Am I primary or secondary on call, or am I further down the sort of escalation pile? Understanding where you are in that is super important for many of our customers, dare I say all of them. And so having that clearly indicated was a common ask and a huge upgrade. But one sort of nuance that then created was understanding, okay, so if my primary and secondary rotate or the people involved in my shift rotate during that shift, how do I make sure that I'm still understanding who the primary is, who the secondary is as those things are changing? And so that's all displayed really nicely in the calendar now. So it's really easy to just know who's actually on call at any given moment.
Yeah, I love this. And keep in mind, even I had to clarify a couple things on this. Keep in mind, this is just a visual change, right? Because you've always been able to rotate mid shift or whenever you wanted in the shift. But to Sean's point, it was fairly difficult to notice that when you looked at it, right? So you can even see here that the shift rotates at 2, and Kevin goes from secondary to primary, and then, hey, I'm no longer in there. So I kind of can relax, kick my feet up, that sort of thing without this visual indicator or even indicating that, okay, now you got different people for primary and secondary. I might still be like on high alert waiting for an alert to come in. So this is a great addition to the schedules here, which is great. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, last but certainly not least, we actually came up with a new subscription page, which is super exciting.
Well, Dan,
Can
I
you?
got to interrupt you because
Oh yeah.
I have to mention that for those of you out there using our mobile apps,
Oh,
We've
yeah.
also enhanced our mobile apps to have really great calendar views for your scheduling. And it's just so good. So I just
Yeah.
had to mention it because I love
No,
it.
that's great. And shout out to the devs and the PM,
Yeah.
Jeff. So, they're all great. Yeah. Again, the mobile app, if you do not have it, I cannot stress enough. You got to download it. It's not just for receiving alerts or notifications. So you can do all sorts of things, of course, on-call reminders, see your schedules, reach out to people, manage incidents. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So yeah, download it, play around with it, and see what you think.
Mhm.
So back to yes, our new subscription page. So can you talk about that a little bit, Sean?
Absolutely, yeah. So subscriptions are super important, right? Like being able to stay up to date on what's happening at all times without having to log into the system is so incredibly helpful. But we didn't have a convenient place for sort of admins, group supervisors to go in and take a look at subscriptions across users. You could always go in and see yours. And you could go in and see other people's, but we didn't have a nice central place to see them all, manage them all. And so that's what this is all about. And it's just such a nice quality of life enhancement.
Yeah, absolutely. This
Mhm.
is this is great. Oh, yeah. And actually, there was a bonus one. I completely forgot about our last one here is the new drill down report with live call routing. So we've of course had columns and information displayed on a report here, but now you can actually drill into it. So yeah, Sean, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, not that different from, say, our incident timeline or alert log. It's really helpful to be able to understand the play-by-play of any given thing, but in this context, a live call to understand if something didn't play out as you wanted it to, how to understand what actually happened, go in, fix that up, but also just to make sure that it's behaving the way you want it to in general so that the right people are getting involved or getting that call at the right time and our escalations are all happening appropriately and you can get the help you need fast. And before we had this, it was a little tricky to know what was actually happening when it wasn't behaving as you expected in a predictable fashion. Now it's super easy. You just hop in here, take a look, and you know exactly what happened step by step and can change whatever needs to appropriately.
Yeah. I'd like to point out too that this was a nice little touch with the hyperlinking to the alert if somebody left a voicemail.
Mhm.
So this is a great addition and yeah, tons of information that you can see because maybe again you can only see what on the xMatters side you couldn't really tell what the customer did. Maybe they hung up, maybe they whatever that is. So you get to see exactly the timeline of everything that went down on that call, which is great. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, hope everyone enjoys the new updates. I know I did, or do still. And thank you for watching. And stay tuned again, just to mention the November 13th webinar. So that was
Mhm.
all things AI. So
Yeah,
sign up in the customer portal or supportcenter.everbridge.com and stay tuned until the next update. Thanks, everyone.
absolutely. Thank you all. Cheers.
Cheers.